Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. Today I would like to share some thoughts regarding Muslims that have been influenced by the red pill movement, specifically those who are involuntarily celibate. These are individuals who want to get married. They long to have an intimate partner, a wife. However, they have not been able to find one. And unfortunately, there are many brothers, many great Muslim brothers who are struggling with this right now. And the reason I wanted to talk about the red pill movement specifically is because recently, many young men who are in this position seem to be following individuals who are preaching this ideology. And really, what I understand the red pill movement to be, it's basically a reaction to feminism. Because what we found in the past several years is the pendulum swung to an extreme way too far toward liberalism and feminism. Feminism is under the umbrella of liberalism. So as a result, there needed to be people who were trying to pull that pendulum back to the middle, because Islam is the straight path. The truth is in between two extremes. However, I feel like now the pendulum it's swung to the opposite extreme amongst certain brothers. And red pill is not something that originated from the Muslims. The most prominent figures associated with this ideology are non-Muslims. And we found throughout Islamic history that when Muslims overindulge in outside influences, whether it be, for example, Greek philosophy, whether it be political movements like Marxism, it starts to influence the way that they perceive Islam. They even start misrepresenting teachings from the religion, quotes from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, verses from the Quran, and they start viewing those verses and those ahadith through the lens of these different ideologies that they have been influenced by. And now we clearly see there are Muslims doing this with red pill. And although we could talk hours about this, I want to focus in this video mainly on trying to give some words of advice to the brothers who want to get married, but they can't find a spouse. And you've been influenced by this red pill movement. One thing that you guys have probably heard a lot about is how women have a certain value in the marketplace of relationships. You've probably heard a lot about how women, they're waiting too long to get married. They want to be independent. They want to get an education and have a career. But then they find themselves unable to find a spouse. Why? Because ideally what a lot of men want is they want a young woman. They want a woman who is going to not pursue education and not pursue a career, but rather they're going to stay at home and they're going to listen to their husband, they're going to raise the kids, they're going to take care of the house. However, what I don't think is discussed enough in this community is that there are a lot of men who also have a certain value in this marketplace of relationships. There are a lot of men who can't find a spouse. And while it's very easy to point the finger at women and say it's their fault, they should make it easy for people to marry them. They shouldn't be delaying marriage. The reality is, even if, hypothetically, for the sake of argument, that were true, that is not going to help you get married. And that's what I want for you brothers. I want you brothers to get married. But following this extreme that the pendulum has swung to regarding this red pill ideology, these sorts of thoughts and ideas that you're being fed, I sincerely do not think is going to help you in your quest of getting married. And in today's video, I'm going to give you one of many reasons why. So first, let me ask you a question. When you want to take a serious step towards getting married, what's the first thing you do? Let's say that you have somebody in mind. There's a sister you know about, you understand that she's single, maybe you're attracted to her, whatever the case may be. What's the first step you are going to take in order to get married to her? The first thing you need to do is talk to her Wali. Talk to her guardian. Specifically and ideally, it's going to be her father. And this is a very important part of our religion as Muslims. Now, I want you to think deeply about a Muslim father marrying off his daughter to somebody. The type of relationship a father has with his daughter, it's unlike anything else. The male is not like the female. And when you have a baby girl, a baby daughter who you raise, who you love, who your heart is attached to, who you have been given the responsibility by Allah to look out for, to take care of, what type of husband do you think that father is going to be looking for? Do you think he's going to want to marry his daughter to somebody who is espousing the rhetoric of people in the red pill community? And just to avoid any misunderstanding regarding the semantics of what truly is and is not red pill, I'm going to share some of the specific things that I've seen coming from Muslim personalities who are active in social media and have a lot of followers, a lot of Muslims who are considered incels. They're involuntarily celibate. There have been polls done proving this. Some of the things I've been seeing coming from these individuals in this community is talking about how women age like milk. Women should not be educated. The collapse of society can be attributed to the fact that women were treated too nicely, and then these different religions and societies crumbled as a result. They're literally on social media mocking the tears of women. Do you think a father is going to want to marry his daughter to somebody following this type of rhetoric? There's two main things a father is going to be concerned with when it comes to marrying off his daughter. He wants to know that, number one, the person that he is going to be marrying his daughter off to can take care of her. He can pay the bills, he can put a roof over her head, he can feed her, he can clothe her. He wants to know that she can be physically taken care of. And number two, he is going to want somebody who makes her happy. This is his princess. He wants you to treat her like a princess. But what do we find among some of these people? They would call somebody who thinks a woman should be treated like a princess simps. Now, I understand some women, some people, they take it to the extreme. However, brothers, it's important to not go to that other extreme. Really, this whole idea that a lot of people are pushing that, women, they just need to be so submissive and you should be able to go, sit down with her father and be like, I don't want her to get an education. I don't want her to have a career. I want her to be at home and take care of my kids. And yeah, I'm going to have 2, 3, 4 wives. Brothers, do you think that you're that high value of a man? A lot of these social media personalities that have been spewing this sort of rhetoric, they're getting young guys all hyped up. They're trying to make you think that this is what you need to find in a spouse. This is what masculinity is all about. And then you have Muslims coming and saying, oh yeah, a lot of what they're saying is from Islam. Brothers, you're being misled. This is giving a very unrealistic, cartoonish image of what marriage actually is. And if you follow these ideologies to their origins, they go back to non-Muslims. They go back to people who commit zina. Which leads me to another concern regarding a Wali for his daughter. He wants you to take care of his daughter for the rest of her life. A lot of brothers don't even understand what they're getting themselves into, let alone do they seemingly have the maturity to see it through to the end, to keep taking care of someone's daughter after the honeymoon butterflies fade away. And if you're online talking about they age like milk, so what are you going to do? You're going to throw her out when she gets older? Nobody in their right mind is going to marry their daughter to some of these guys, considering the nonsense that they're spewing on the internet. Nobody who cares about their daughter is going to take you seriously. A lot of these social media personalities that talk about this stuff all day, it's just entertainment. A lot of this stuff has no actual grounding in reality, let alone the Quran and Sunnah, which should really be what we refer to. But because a lot of people are being influenced by this, and also because many of us have seen the way women have been treated over the years, especially those who didn't have a wali. This is well known, and this deserves a separate video in and of itself. Many women who embrace Islam, when they don't have a wali, they don't have like a father who can really play that role of guardianship for her in finding a spouse, many women have been taken advantage of. And all of this plays a role regarding why there are not just women, but actually their fathers. Many fathers want their daughters to get educated and to be able to have a career, to take care of themselves, because they don't trust a lot of the men. Yes, some have been influenced by feminism and liberalism, that's true. But the pendulum, it can swing to both extremes, and it's really important that we don't go to that other extreme. This community I'm speaking about spends an awful lot of time criticizing women. They spend an awful lot of time talking about what type of women are not appealing. Meanwhile, they find themselves wanting to get married, but they can't find a spouse. So there's a whole lot more we can talk about, but I want to summarize this video by reiterating the following 2 things that we can walk away with, inshallah. Number 1, yes, a lot of people for many years, they went to an extreme regarding feminism, but it's important to make sure that people do not go to the other extreme in the name of opposing liberalism and feminism. And number 2, remember in Islam, we have something called a wali, a guardian for our women. A real wali, a father who really loves, raised, nurtured his daughter, would never consider marrying his daughter to somebody who has adopted a lot of these aspects of what we see on the internet today. Allah knows best. Thank you for watching. JazakumAllahukhairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.